Happy Friday. Today is Friday, the 20th day of May. This is the 10th episode of season 4 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reach optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm a professional creative. I'm a speaker. I'm an author, and I'm the creator of the HERO ministry movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire people in general and the unhoused community in specific. Join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:45 a.m. Central, 7:45 a.m. Mountain, to watch me talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me the space and the opportunity to talk about my journey of becoming my own hero. And if this show serves you in any way, please like, please comment, please share, please spread the word. Quick disclaimer, I am not a personal trainer, nor am I a financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt. So all that said, let's jump right into it. It's Free Flow Friday in season 4 of Be Your Own Hero show, and I got a couple of things I want to cover today. So let's go. Today is day 355 of my run streak, and I am going to show the run report today. This is today's run report, and after that, I'm going to make a quick comment about it. So here we go. This is from earlier today. Run streak day 355. I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 355 consecutive days in a row. Welcome to the Sekou Hero Charity Run. We've raised over $7,000 for 10 different charities, and I've run in more than 11 cities and run more than 1,000 miles. That's what's up. Hold on. Everyone's been asking what's up for day 365, which is May 31st. Let's do this. Let's all run on May 31st, wherever we are in the world, and use the hashtag Sekou Hero Charity Run. We can have a virtual run party. That's what I got. I think that would be amazing. And no matter how far you can run, you can't run very far. You can only make it to the end of the driveway. That's cool. But use the hashtag Sekou Hero Charity Run. You can see it in the bio. Let's go. Let's have a virtual run party on May 31st. Let's get it. Run streak. Okay, so there we go. People have been asking me about day 365, but people have been asking me from kind of all over the world, all over the country. And so I was trying to think of a way to celebrate collectively. So that's my thought. It came to me this morning, and you heard me say it in the run report. So I hope that that's what we can do. And everybody who's interested in doing something physical, some form of exercise, because you remember, or you may not remember, but in June when I first started this, 45 other people joined me in my movement in various ways. I was running, but other people were doing other things. We had a weightlifter, we had someone doing yoga, we had a few people walking. So whatever your movement is, you can do that on May 31st, which is day 365 of my run streak, and post it on social media with the hashtag Sekou Hero Charity Run. And so it'll be like a collective movement celebration from wherever we are in the world. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Anyway, that said, shout out to the people in the chat. Shout out to Linda. Shout out to Tim. Happy Friday. Hero Nation, as we were named by Demetrius Short. Shout out to the Hero Nation out there for everybody watching now or on demand later. Okay, so moving on. I want to remind folks that tomorrow is the fundraiser for Project Love Strong. That is the very first nonprofit that I worked with in terms of the unhoused community. Well, not including First Baptist Church, Capitol Hill. I started working with the unhoused community with First Baptist Church, Capitol Hill, and then I found Project Love Strong through social media. So this is their event. It is tomorrow. It is the Change for Change. What does this say? Change for Change. A Monte Carlo affair. So it's networking, casino night, and it's happening tomorrow. I am going to support them. They've been very supportive of me. Again, they made the largest donation to the fundraiser for Mr. Charles. And also I bought a ticket and I gave it away. So the person who got the ticket, I guess I'll meet her tomorrow night at the event. So that's what's happening tomorrow. And let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but let's just keep rolling and see what happens. Let's move on to the dice roll challenge. I got my dice all lined up here. So recapping for this week, we've had a couple 4s, a 2, a 3. Thus far, let's add it up after we roll the dice. Let's roll the dice. Roll the dice for Friday. The number is 3. So, oh, that's funny. It's funny because the total for the week is $16, and the total for last week was $16. Interesting. So, if you didn't do it daily, you can still do it for the week. You can move your $16 from your checking account over into a place where you can invest it. The point is to invest this money, to set it aside, get it out of circulation so that you can invest it, because the number one reason given by people who don't invest is that they don't have money to invest. This way, you give yourself money to invest by setting aside very small amounts, just the amount of a cup of coffee a day, right? So everybody do that. $16 for the week. All right, so morning Zen is going to be a little different today. So I woke up early. I did the biphasic sleep pattern thing where I had a night watch in the middle of the night where I was relatively productive, and then I got up again later. But when I got up again later, I was groggy. So anyway, I don't need to make a long story long. I didn't do my traditional morning practice. But as you know, if you've been watching the show, I've set up social media to give me tidbits. I got some good tidbits, but I want to circle back to something that I was already talking about. So the book, How to Solve All Your Money Problems Forever by Victor Bach. We've been talking about this. And I was asking you last Friday, over the weekend, to think about what it is you wanted. Now, I don't know if you did it or not, but here's the reminder to ask for something specific. And I figured, for me, it was challenging. So I figured it must be challenging for some of you too. So let's narrow it down to a category. This is what we're going to do. This is the homework for the weekend. Let's talk about it on Monday. Is the homework. 2 things. You're going to write down what kind of car you want. Let's narrow it down to a specific category. So if on Monday somebody was going to give you a car, what kind of car would you want it to be? If on Monday, this coming Monday, someone's going to give you a car, what kind of car would you want it to be? So write that down. Let's drop it in the chat on Monday and talk about it. If I forget, remind me. But I'm going to make a note. All right? So that's what we're going to do. So the idea is to be specific. Not general, but specific. Okay. So that's what we're doing for Morning Zen. And now let's jump into abundance. We're going to do the affirmation. And we're going to read that twice with feeling, get it in our bones, and then move on to abundance. So, I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. I'm going to do that again, get it in your bones. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. Every area, because we're not just talking about financial abundance. We're talking about abundance in all the ways. Abundance is a mindset. It's a feeling tone. We want abundance in all the various ways. Speaking of which, here's a sidebar. So I just had my first, what I would call viral post yesterday. One of my posts on Instagram had over 10,000 views yesterday. I was like, what? That's the biggest number I've ever seen on my personal Instagram. So I'm very excited about that. So yeah, that's abundance. And my point is, immediately I was like, abundance. And before, I would have separated it. I would only have thought abundance about finances and not about other things that are happening. And so the mindset shift is to recognize abundance in all the many ways that it shows up. So abundance on social media, that's abundance too. Okay, so quick reminder, if you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. But if you want to get wealthy, you must invest. It is not optional. Hence, the dice roll challenge, to give yourself money to invest. You got to invest to beat inflation. Okay, so recapping this week, we talked about a lot of things. We talked about Magic Johnson. We talked about Kathy Wood. We talked about cryptocurrency. We talked about a lot of different things. So let's try to recap that a little bit. So Magic Johnson, I showed the video a couple times. He, quote unquote, missed out on $5 billion. That would have increased his net worth by $5 billion. If you missed the memo, the deal was Converse and Nike were competing to have him be their pitchman, and Converse won by offering cash. Nike was offering stock, but that stock that Nike offered would now be worth $5.2 billion, right? So there's so many lessons to extract from this, but I don't want to miss this one. So often we watch what celebrities do and the options that are given to celebrities, and we think that we don't have those same options. You think that we don't have access to those same options. Now, true, we're not Magic Johnson, and no one's like Converse and Nike aren't vying for our attention, right? But we do have access to the stock market, and Nike stock is available to any of us. And it may have been harder to get Nike stock in 1979 or 1980 when they made the offer to Magic Johnson. I don't know. But we know that it's readily available now. We can all get in. And that's my point, because so often we think, all right, these opportunities are only available to the rich, or to the people who are rich already. But they're available to us too. Well, we've got to think about them as being available to us. We also often make the mistake of thinking, oh, the train has left the station. Well, yeah, the train has left the station, but there's another station, and another station, and another station, and another station. Every day is a new station. You can get on the train at any time. So if you thought, oh, I didn't buy Nike stock when it first dropped in 1979, so I missed the boat, I'm not going to do anything, then you're continuing to miss the boat. You can still get on the train by buying at any point and then riding the train further. So what we've learned, I hope you've learned this with me, is that stock investing is a long-term play. Like, there's lots of things that happen short-term that can scare you. The graph goes up and down dramatically. Things happen in the news, right? But if you've got a position in a company that's vetted, meaning the work has been done for you, then you want to hold that position long-term, it's going to work out. So just to make that more clear, in 1979 or 1980, Nike was not a good idea, because they just had their IPO in 1979. So who knew it was going to win, or if it was going to win or not? So that might not have been the best deal for Magic, even though he's regretting it now. But hindsight is 2020. Right? But once Nike was admitted into the Dow 30, and again, that's the 30 stocks that comprise the Dow. It's only 30. So once it became a part of the Dow 30, now the work has been done for you. Other people have decided that Nike is deserving of being in the Dow 30. Now, that's when you can get in. And I actually did the math. If you'd gotten in just in 2013, I think the stock price almost tripled from 2013 to now. And the stock price was about $40 in 2013, right? So we're not talking about huge numbers here. And still today, like, you can still buy Nike stock today and then ride it for the future. So the point is, the train has left the station, but there are multiple stations along the way. You just have to shift your mindset to get in when you can get in and ride it for the future. Okay, so that's the big takeaway that I'm giving for Magic Johnson. We also talked about Kathy Wood and how I have shifted my investment practices in terms of cryptocurrency. So as you know, if you've been watching the show from the beginning, I have been very positive, bullish, as they say on Wall Street. I've been very bullish about cryptocurrency. I think it's already won. It's just a matter of how it's going to infiltrate itself into the world today. I say that because there are literally thousands of cryptocurrencies. And I didn't know that until I started doing research. We only hear about Bitcoin and sometimes Ethereum, but there are thousands of them. And the market cap for cryptocurrency as a whole as a collective is over $2 trillion, which is bigger than the GDP of Canada. So to me, I think it's gotten so big that it can't help but infiltrate into our lives. We just don't know how. And so what I was doing was buying directly. I bought into Coinbase, which is a shovel company, what I call a shovel company, which means that what they do is they will give you cryptocurrency for your money, but they're not really invested in which cryptocurrency is going to win. That's for you to decide. But there are a number of these exchanges. That's what it's called technically, these exchanges. Coinbase, Gemini, there are many. And to my thinking now, I don't know which of those exchanges is going to win. So I'm putting my money on Kathy Wood to figure it out. You go figure it out, Kathy. I'm just going to put my money on you. And there's an important point here. Her various funds, she has several funds, one of which is invested in cryptocurrency. And also that fund that's invested in cryptocurrency, that ETF technically, is only $40 per share. $40 per share. Meanwhile, when I was buying Coinbase, I was paying like $200 per share. So I can buy much more shares of Kathy's wisdom than I can buy of Coinbase and the other cryptocurrency properties that I had, because I had several, but I closed them all and I've been reallocating to Kathy. And even though people talk trash about Kathy all the time, the people who are talking trash about Kathy are not people who are in the market and able to beat the S&P 500. Beating the S&P 500, I've learned over and over again, is very difficult to do. Which brings me to another very important point that I don't want anybody to miss. If everybody in the finance world is saying the S&P is hard to beat, the S&P is hard to beat, why are we not owning the S&P? Like, let's be a part of that thing that's hard to beat, right? And then you figure out other ways to make even more wealth for yourself, generate even more wealth for yourself. But the S&P is one of the standard bearers. S&P 500 and the Dow 30, two of the standard bearers, right? And the NASDAQ 100. That's what, 630 companies that have been vetted, where the work has been done. That's a big playground. You can play around with 630 companies where the work has already been done for you. There's no guesswork. You're not trying to figure it out. And as I mentioned before, you can buy index funds that buy each of those three components as a collective. Like, you can just buy the S&P 500 as an index fund. You can buy the Dow 30 as an index fund. You can buy the NASDAQ 100 as an index fund. So that's just three index funds, three positions that you could have and cover yourself very, very well. There are some people I've learned that only buy index funds. And as I've mentioned several times, Warren Buffett has said that if and when when he passes away, the way his money will be allocated is 90% into index funds. 90%, that's Warren Buffett. So if Warren Buffett says it, you know that you can trust it, like he has done the work. So even if you don't make any other moves in investing, you can simply invest in index funds. That's it. Okay, so I kind of went off on a tangent, but the point is that I have been slowly reallocating my resources to safer places. I'm learning how to shop in Sam's. In Sam's, what's it called? Sam's Club? Yeah, shop in Sam's Club to find the right aisles to buy things from the safest aisles. And that includes betting on people who are smarter, who have done the work, like Kathy Woods and Warren Buffett. Even Warren Buffett has a company that's publicly traded. So you can benefit from his wisdom by buying shares in his company, which is, I can't think of the company now. But now that I mentioned it, I want you to have it, right? So let's see if we can find it. What's the name of Warren Buffett's company? I know, I have it on Cash App because it doesn't pay a dividend. So Berkshire Hathaway. It's called Berkshire Hathaway. And they have all kinds of holdings. They've got real estate. They've got all the things that Warren Buffett is into. So point is, you can see smart money if you learn how to look. And you can just follow the smart money with your dollars and benefit from their wisdom. Okay. All right. And yes, Linda, we must act. Linda's saying in the chat, we must act. It's all about doing. And I'm not wearing my doing shirt today, but some of you who know me know that I have doing shirts and hero shirts. And it's all about doing. I have been saying at the end of this show since the beginning, now is better than perfect. And that is really a reminder for me because I have tended to mull things over and think things through. Yeah, now is better than perfect. So think about that in terms of the stock market. Think about it in terms of the Magic Johnson example. Like you can mull over whether or not you're going to get in on this Nike stock. And you can still get in later, but if you would pull the trigger, you would have been able to ride that train to much success faster because you got in earlier. Okay, there we go. All right, so all that said, I have been doing like a kind of informal survey of shows of people about which of my shows they like the best. And unequivocally, it's been the story shows. Like people still talking about the Smoothie King show. Don't get me started. And also other stories I've told. So I'm gonna get back to telling stories because it's fun for me. You know, I love telling stories. And apparently those are the ones that are most impactful. So I'm gonna start telling stories on Fridays, I think. So I'm gonna tell a story today. Let me see if there's anything else I want to say about abundance before I jump to that. Oh, just a reminder about The Baby Steps Millionaire. This is a book by Dave Ramsey. So the way I'm thinking about it for artists and retirees is to set aside 30% of your money as it comes in as a habit. Like develop that habit so that you've always got that money allocated for other things. So 10% for an emergency fund, 10% for taxes, and 10% for old debt. Right? So you can have that 30% set aside in those three different buckets, and you can build those three different buckets up as you move forward. And you can also use the Dice Roll Challenge for your investment money so that you always have some money to invest. So again, what I'm doing is I'm taking Dave Ramsey's baby steps and remixing them for artists and retirees because our needs are a little different than someone who's working a full-time job and has a regular salary. So I'm going to talk more about that because I'm continuing to remix his rules for me, and that might be helpful to you. Okay, so story time. Story time. Oh, wait, one more thing. So we also talked about this week that I changed my acronym for FANG from F-A-A-N-G to F-A-N-G because I discovered just now that Apple pays a dividend. And I owned Apple on Cash App, which does not offer dividend reinvestment. And I don't want that because I want the company matching. That's what I'm calling dividends, company matching. I want as much company matching as possible. So I closed my position in Apple on Cash App and reallocated those funds to Tesla, which does not pay dividend. And I'm going to reacquire Apple on my Schwab account because they do offer dividend reinvestment. And my bet is just like with Magic and Nike, for the long term, for the long haul, having access to that dividend will do well for me and for you too. Okay, so there's my alarm. Let's get to this story. So this is a quick story. I've mentioned it before, but I just want to give it a little more air. So when I ran the half marathon, there were so many things to notice. It's what I call a dense event. There's so many things going on, right? But one of the experiences has kind of outshined the others in terms of my memory, and I've been thinking about it a lot. So I'm gonna tell this story again. So I have never been in a race this big before. I had never been in a race that big. And it's just, there's so many people. There's so many people. It was like, wow. And so there's this kind of confusion about where to be. Like basically you're all lined up on a street and you're supposed to line up by your pace, by your speed. There's people holding up signs, but it's a lot of people. And I ended up lining up with the Black Men Run group because, you know, camaraderie, familiarity. And so they were in a space that was faster than where I was supposed to be, but it didn't matter. It was like we're all going to start together. And that was really cool. So also while I was standing there, I noticed that there were people that were like their energy was very active, very aggressive. Like clearly it wasn't their first marathon. And they're like trying to edge up and edge up and edge up. Like just to get a couple inches because you can't move anywhere because it's all these bodies. So I only mention that to say that this is what it looked like. This is what it felt like. There's kind of this aggressive energy, and I'm trying to find a comfortable space. And in the middle of that, one of the guys from Black Men Run, his name is Aaron. He practically yells, "Sekou!" and it kind of shocked me out of my reverie of looking around. I looked at him, and Aaron, he's blonde hair, blue-eyed, and he's wearing shades. He's literally the only person in all those throngs of people who's wearing shades. Like he's just super cool at all times, right? He's like, "Sekou." I said, "Yeah," and I'm thinking something's wrong. Like I'm like, "Yeah, what? Like, what's up?" I'm trying to get my bearings. She's like, "You've changed." I was like, "What?" It's like, "Yeah, man, you've changed. You're a whole new Sekou. You're a whole new Sekou." And he had this whole thing of me being a whole new Sekou. And then they started the race, and he was off. And I've thought about that a lot. But let me finish what happened actually, because he took off, and I already know that he runs 7-minute mile pace all the time. Like that's his speed. He's fast, right? And he and Marcus were running together, and I decided in the moment to trail them for the first mile. I can do fast, but not for long periods of time. So my plan was to follow them, and I followed them for that first mile. And I'm telling you, they ran that first mile like they were playing football. They were cutting in between people, dodging and weaving, running up on the sidewalk to pass people. Like they were not going to be held back by anybody in their way. And so I did all those things with them for the first mile. And then as soon as I hit a mile, I was like, "All right, I'm good. Go ahead." Right? Now I slowed down a little bit. But anyway, in the aftermath of the race, I've thought a lot about that, him saying that, because the punchline is Aaron met me during the pandemic. Like he just met me, and he's talking about how much I've changed. And it's encouraged me to think about, if I've changed to him that much during the pandemic, what must it be like for people who knew me before the pandemic, before all these changes, before the Be Your Own Hero show, before I was talking about financial literacy, because this is brand new to me, before I started running. Because don't forget, I only started running during the pandemic. Before that, it was just high school, right? Before I started working with the unhoused community. Like all these things are new and big and fantastic. And it's just interesting to me to think about how much I've changed from pre-pandemic to now. And apparently how much I've changed even during the pandemic. And I'll just say to that one of the main things I've discovered, people always ask me, what's the thing, what's your biggest takeaway from running all this time and your run streak, and what's the thing? There's so many things. But the big thing is that I'm capable of so much more than I thought that I was capable of. I'm capable of so much more than I thought I was capable of. None of these things that I just listed are things that I ever thought that I would do. Ever. Like, it's not even like I thought about them and I thought, oh, that's too hard. No, they never entered my mind as something that I might do. I never thought that I'd be a runner again, or especially a runner in this way, having run literally over 1,000 miles and used that running to raise money for charity and learning enough about finance and wealth and abundance that I can talk about it to anybody. Like, that's mind-boggling. And working with the unhoused community such that I'm going to this event tomorrow to be a part of a community that works with the unhoused, that does work in the community. And I'm a part of that. Like, I've been texting and emailing with the Project Love Strong people. Like, I'm a part of the circle of people who give back. And so that moment with me and Aaron at the beginning of the race really stuck with me, and it's continued to stick with me. And I've realized that all of us can change our lives dramatically if we just stay consistent, if we just stay consistent. If we just stay consistent. All right. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. It feels good to me to tell it. And it's time for prayer time. Actually, I'm sorry, prayer time. I went a little bit long. And then it's time for Sit with Rev Melissa, where I will be producing, and I will see you there. Don't forget to do your homework over the weekend. Write down the card that you would get on Monday if someone was going to give you a card on Monday. Let's talk about it on Monday. Till then, keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero. Go surprise yourself. And remember that now is better than perfect. I'll see you later.